So get this. What if I told you that one of Tesla's most hyped pieces of tech, the one that was supposed to change everything, has completely flipped its script? We're talking about a pivot from being this massive cost killer to, well, a shield against tariffs. Yeah, that's the wild story of the 4680 battery. Let's dig in. Yeah, you probably remember this, right? The insane hype from Tesla's Battery Day back in 2020. Elon Musk himself laid it all out. The 4680 cell, it wasn't just a bigger battery. No. It was pitched as a total manufacturing revolution, the key that would finally unlock that holy grail, a truly affordable, mass-market electric car. And man, that promise, it had the entire industry buzzing. But okay, let's fast forward to today. That grand vision, it kind of slammed into a wall of reality. I mean, the battery that was supposed to be the key to Tesla's entire future has been, well, it's been repositioned. It is now officially just a backup plan. A backup plan? How crazy is that? All right, section 1, promise versus reality. So, how in the world did we get here? From this world-changing promise to a simple supply chain hedge. To really get it, we've got to trace the pretty wild journey of the 4680 cell. It's a classic tale, you know? Massive ambition clashing with the brutal realities of manufacturing, and of course, a shifting market. Okay, just look at this timeline. It's a roller coaster. The whole thing has been so stop and start. It launched with all this fanfare, right? Then it kind of trickled into a few cars for employees, and then poof, it gets pulled from the Model Y. Why? Because the tiny amount they could make was needed for the Cybertruck. But the real kicker, the big red flag that something was up, came late last year from one of their key suppliers. Just look at this number, $7,386. What is that? Well, a key cathode supplier, a company called L&F, had a nearly $3 billion supply deal with Tesla. $3 billion. And then, just last December, they wrote that entire deal down by over 99% to just over $7,000. Their reason? A change in supply quantity. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It was a massive signal that the huge production ramp-up everyone was banking on, yeah, it just wasn't happening. And that brings us to the pivot. This is the whole ballgame right here. The original idea, the whole reason for the 4680 was simple. Slash battery costs in half, build a $25,000 car for the masses, and completely revolutionize manufacturing. That was the dream. The reality today? Totally different. It's now all about managing geopolitical risk. Tesla is basically using its very limited US-based 4680 production as a shield against potential tariffs on Chinese batteries. The entire mission has changed. Section 2, the broader lightweighting trend. Okay, but here's where it gets interesting. There's a twist. While that whole cost-cutting promise for the 4680 has kind of faded into the background, the tech that was developed with it, I'm talking about the structural battery pack, well, that part taps directly into one of the biggest, most critical trends in the entire auto industry right now, lightweighting. And trust me, lightweighting is a huge deal. It's not just some buzzword. We're talking real numbers here. Shaving just 10% of a car's weight can boost an EV's range by something like 4 to 6%. And think about it. With these massive, heavy battery packs and ever tighter emissions rules, every single automaker out there is in a frantic race to shed pounds. Every gram counts. And this is just a brilliant visual of how Tesla planned to pull it off. The whole idea was to combine the 4680 cells with a structural battery pack and these enormous gigacastings. So on the left, you've got the Model 3's underbody. It's made of 171 different parts all welded together, a real puzzle. On the right, the Model Y, just 2 giant cast pieces. 2. That gets rid of over 1,600 welds, makes manufacturing way simpler, and, most importantly, it saves a ton of weight. And you know what? This isn't just a Tesla story. Not at all. The whole industry is moving in this direction. Just look at this chart. You can see the projected drop in old-school steel use by 2030, and at the same time, a big jump in lighter stuff like aluminum and plastics. So yeah, gigacasting and lightweighting, that's not just a Tesla gimmick. It's pretty much the future of how we're going to build cars, period. All right, section 3, outlook, a strategic hedge. So let's talk outlook. If the 4680 isn't about building a cheaper car anymore, what does its new job as a strategic hedge actually mean for the market? Well, like any big pivot, this one creates a whole new lineup of winners and losers. So who wins? Well, the big winner is Tesla's own supply chain. Now they've got this domestic option they can lean on if things get hairy with international trade. And of course, that's good news for any US suppliers they work with. And the losers? Well, obviously, suppliers like L&F Co. are feeling the pain. But the really big loser here is that original investment idea. And, all of us who were hoping for that $25,000 Tesla. That dream, for now, is officially dead. So as this whole story keeps unfolding, what should you be watching? Here are the key things to keep on your radar. First, look at the actual production numbers versus their installed capacity. That gap tells you everything about whether they're cracking the manufacturing code. Second, keep an eye out for any news on new domestic cathode lines and those new 4680 variants they've been talking about. And finally, and this is a big one, any announcement on US-China trade policy is now a direct trigger for this whole narrative. Watch that space closely. Okay, the trade. And remember, this is not financial advice. But let's switch gears for a second and put on our analyst hats. Based on everything we've talked about, how could you think about this from a market point of view?
One way is to look at a classic strategy for when you expect fireworks but aren't sure which kind. It's called a long straddle. Basically, you buy both a call option and a put option at the same time. You're not betting on whether the stock goes up or down. You're just betting that it's going to move a lot in one direction or the other.
So what's the trade idea? A long straddle on Tesla, placed right before the next big US-China tariff decision drops. The whole thesis here is that the 4680 battery isn't just a piece of tech anymore. It's a geopolitical pawn. That means any major trade news, good or bad, is likely to make the stock move violently. And that's exactly the kind of volatility this strategy is built for.
But again, just to be crystal clear, this is not financial advice.